Hey, John Hart, welcome back to Mr. America Hart. All right, are big weights, heavy weights, required for building bigger muscles? All right, so we all want to have those bigger muscles, right? We want to have somewhat bigger, more lean muscle mass. And I know all the studies that y'all have been, reading about, hearing about all through social media. They usually comment on them as well. Some derivative of the studies that have been done saying things like, oh, well, you can still grow muscle using light weights, things like that. You don't have to use weights at all to build muscle, something like that. Training with intensity is all that's required. All these derivatives, okay? And I get it, and so do you, right? Now that I'm pointing this out, that some of these things are just blatant, funneled down to a half a sentence type statements that are really not what a lot of these studies have been done about. Excuse me. So the reality is at some time, if you want your lean muscle mass to grow, you want that lean body mass to raise up, can you do just body weight exercises? Simple ones even. Can you just do push-ups, air squats? Well, the answer would be yes, if you have not been doing those things up until now, nor have you been doing any kind of resistance training whatsoever. Resistance training is the phrase that we're going to use here now, because big weights is what I started off with, but now we're going to go to resistance training. There has to be a certain amount of resistance placed up against your structure, meaning it's a survival machine. Okay, that's what God gave us. We live and are housed in a survival machine. All it knows is life and death. It will grow muscle in response to a life-threatening situation. That's what's happening. So because of that, it must perceive that there was a fair or a strong threat against it for it to start to overcompensate and build more lean muscle mass back to itself than it had prior to that event. Right? So this is a simple way of looking at it, but it does get lost in the weeds though. So can I go ahead all day long and do, push-ups multiple times a day and, make changes? Well, yeah, to your chest, to your triceps, your shoulders. Yeah, you can. Again, if you have not been doing that in recent times, because it's a new, for lack of a better term, assault to your system. And it perceives that it does need to compensate and overcompensate by perhaps increasing its lean muscle mass. Surely it's endurance as well. So how do we reconcile this when it comes to, well, I just want to build a physique. I want to grow lean muscle mass. All right, well, the way we do this is we go like this. I need to increase some sort of resistance against my muscle tissue on my body. So what have I been doing lately? I'm not knocking body weight or calisthenic type exercises if you've not been doing that lately. Go right ahead. If you've not been lifting weights either, go ahead. But going from lifting weights to doing body weight only exercises is not going to be a strong enough signal being sent to your body. As hard as you try, unless you're doing pistol squats. Pistol squats are about that's just a single leg squat. Pistol squats are pretty freaking hard on your quads. But even those, you're going to, at some point, get good at them. You're going to have your body overcompensate by increasing its lean muscle mass, and then you have to start holding weights. Did I say that? Yes, I did say that. You're going to have to start holding weights. You mean adding heavier weight? Yes, that's true. Even on a pistol squat. Yes. Even on a push-up. At some point in time, if you want more increases in lean muscle mass, you're going to have to wear a weight vest or put plates on your back as you do the push-up. Either way, you're increasing the resistance. In other words, heavier weight. Heavy weight. Yes, your body perceives it to be heavy. at that time. That's why it's going to make a change and accommodate for that weight, that assault on its system. And then eventually it won't seem like it's a heavy weight because that's the gift that we've been given. We live in an adaptation survival machine. It will adapt. Okay, so let's get down to it though. When we're talking about the gym now, we want to grow some muscle, right? You want to grow some muscle. Do you need to lift heavy weight? Yeah, you do. Of course you do. You do. You need to lift heavier weight than you're used to. So get your butt in the gym, lift the weight. If you've lifted, 80 pounds on a curl 10 times, you're going to have to go to 85 at some point in time for 10. You're going to have to go to 90, 95 for 10. The biggest arms, the biggest bodies, the biggest chest, the biggest legs in the world have been developed over time using progressive resistance. That's where the term comes from. So you're going to have to use heavier weight. Heavy weight. Ronnie Coleman says heavy ass weights. Yeah. You're going to have to use heavy weight. How far you take that depends on your personal goals. But you're going to have to increase the weight that you use. And that's all there is to that. Can you build a great physique with a 30-pound dumbbell at home and some bands? Well, if the bands are strong enough, you can get some progression with it to a degree. I've yet to see a complete physique built with just the bands. So I don't believe that's happened. So my answer to that would be no. A 30-pound dumbbell and some bands. No. So you're going to need heavier resistance. And why did I just bash the bands? Because the bands only give you resistance on the concentric. On the eccentric, there's very little. It decreases as you stretch the muscle out, which is the opposite of what you want. Bands are useless when it comes to giving your body resistance in the lengthened position, the most important part of the exercise, in the lengthened position. So you're going to have to get over yourself. I've done videos before where I've mentioned how men over 50 should squat. I mean, that's like unheard of, right? I'll put the link down below in that video. It's a great one. And oh man, did I catch a lot of heat for that. Because, loading the spine with massive weights is useless and dangerous to men over 50. That's just a bunch of crap. Okay? If you prepare yourself properly over time, you would be prepared for such things. And I go over it in that video. But my point on that is this. I point that out that because you blow norms. Okay? If your system is used to a certain resistance and you're lifting with great technique and you're taking care of your flexibility, your mobility, you're not going to go ahead and just damage your body because you're lifting slightly heavier weight. It doesn't work that way. I've trained people all the way up to 86 years old at this point, from 13 to 86. I've yet to see somebody over 50 just tear a muscle because we gave them more weight. I've yet to see them blow out a joint because we gave them more weight. It's not happened. It's just not happened. I've trained thousands of clients, by the way, in the last 40 years. And a large percentage of them were in that age group of post 50 or past 50. So yes, you do need heavier weight to grow a bigger muscle. Even if you say, I'm doing 30 repetitions a set, you're going to have to lift heavier weight for 30 repetitions after your body's compensated and overcompensated and adjusted and grown some muscle for those prior workouts that you did with a certain weight for 30 repetitions. So let's not mince words here. You do need heavier weight. You do need heavier resistance. That's it. That's the bottom line. Okay? So focus on lifting it with great form. Focus on getting those repetitions, maybe even a couple extra repetitions. I like training to momentary muscular failure and beyond, but that's up to you. It's a whole other video. But you're going to have to incrementally raise that resistance, the amount of weight you use over time for whatever number of repetitions you use. And don't think you can go ahead and just do endless sets of push-ups and static holds of push-ups halfway down and holding it for a minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Now it's an endurance contest if you do something like that. That's it. How do I explain all of those, athletic builds on people out in parks doing just push-ups and calisthenics? Well, I explain it that they've built a nice little physique, keyword being little, and they've built a physique that won't go any further than they've got. That's it right there. Do you want to go further than what you got? Then you're going to have to lift bigger weights. That's all there is to it. All right. This is all from my heart to you, okay? John Hart, my phrase. All right, listen. Consider it. Love to hear comments down below in the comments section. I know you all have opinions on this, so want to hear it. Just keep it polite, keep it clean down in the comment section. Bring it on. Let's go. All right, before I leave, off to my left, you're going to see this disc pop up. That's the subscribe button for my channel. If you're liking the videos that I'm doing, please tap that button. And then down below, either center or off to your left, you're going to see a thumbs up button. Please give this video a thumbs up. It lets the YouTube algorithm know how much you're liking my videos. It lights up the algorithm, lights me up too. Let's go, and I'll see you in the next video.